Yeah, what's up, everybody? This is your Ringside Report Network Raw Post Show for Monday, October 11th. Thanksgiving Monday here in Canada. Tonight on the show, we'll talk about our match of the night, tell you about some King of the Ring and Queen's Crown results, and other stuff, okay? I botched that intro. I figured let's just get into the show. You know what I mean? Let's just do it. What are we waiting for? I also want to tell you why the Usos were cheered tonight. Usos got some big reactions. Usos, of course, the Smackdown Tag Team Champions. They were on Raw tonight. Sans Roman Reigns without their cousin, the big dog, the head of the table. Want to give a shout-out to the members. Shout-out to Franco316, Angelo Contagonis in the chat. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Brian Firth. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian friends, all of our American friends waiting for Thanksgiving. You're waiting for your turkey in November. We had it today or last night, depending on how you do it. So Thanksgiving in the books, Raw in the books. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about why the Usos were a bad move to put into the show here tonight. The Usos coming in, they were the Raw main event against Big E and Drew McIntyre. I don't really understand why you bring in the Usos for this spot. The Usos, they're a heel team on SmackDown, but Raw tonight was in San Francisco, and in San Francisco, the Samoan family, the Anoa'i family, the Fatu family, they are big baby faces. When the Wild Samoans first came to America, they settled in San Francisco. And when Roman Reigns wrestled Brock Lesnar, that was in San Francisco at that WrestleMania where all the Samoan family, they were there in full force, because San Francisco is like a hometown for them. San Francisco is like a hometown for the Usos, for Roman Reigns. Even though they grew up in Florida, you know, a lot of their family has roots in San Francisco. And tonight's show in San Francisco, the WWE knows this, and it was clear watching the show, like the crowd chanting Usos, Usos during the match against Big E and Drew McIntyre, who are supposed to be two of the top baby faces in the company. I think it was a little bit of a misstep to bring in the Usos for this role. I don't think you really needed to have Big E and Drew McIntyre team up. You had so many of these matches tonight where it's like, let's put these two guys together that don't really fit. They don't want a team together. We had like 3 matches that ended with tag teams not getting along tonight on the show. 3. It's a 3-hour show. It happened 3 times on the show where we had tag team matches, and at the end of the match, when all the dust cleared, they were fighting each other. Right? We had it in the Drew McIntyre Big E tag team. They start beating up on each other after the match. That's how the match ended, really. You had Mansoor and Mustapha Ali. They lost their match, and then they broke up, and later on, Mustapha was beating up Mansoor. And, of course, the women's tag team match with Charlotte Flair teaming up with Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And they were all fighting each other. They couldn't get along. Neither of those teams could get along. Just a lot of the same on the show tonight. A lot of kind of repetitive stories going over and over again. So it was a lot of that. A lot of that. I'm seeing questions about Thanksgiving on the chat. My brother is not here. He's actually under the weather. Doug Hepburn in the chat. What's up, Doug? Yeah, my dad did cook a turkey for me. It was pretty good. I requested it on the show the other night. I was like, hey, I know you're watching. Can I have a turkey? What's the deal? I forgot about Thanksgiving. And he's like, yeah, maybe. Then he made turkey. It's delicious. Had it tonight. So it's a lot of the same type of stuff on the show tonight, over and over again. And I think the Usos coming in was a bad move because you're trying to get Big E and Drew over as baby faces. Then you have the Usos who are supposed to play the role of the heels, but they're in their hometown kind of getting big cheers from the crowd. You heard the crowd cheering for the Usos. Usos doing their chant, Usos! The crowd was like very much into it. During the match, they were getting a positive reaction. Big E and Drew, like, not really getting a babyface reaction tonight. It's because they were in San Francisco. Alpha and Sika started out there. They still have, like, a lot of roots there. That's kind of a hometown feel for the Usos. They wind up beating Drew and Big E via countout after Big E accidentally bumped into Drew on the apron. Drew got mad, pulled Big E out of the ring. They started pushing each other. Then they started punching each other. And they wouldn't stop fighting each other. And Big E was a legal man at the time, so the ref just kept counting to 10. And then the match ended with the Usos winning by countout. At a certain point, the Usos decided to attack Big E and Drew McIntyre. They jump out of the ring. They beat them up a little bit. But eventually, Drew and Big E, they fight the Usos off, and then they find themselves in the ring. They start fighting each other. Drew hits the Claymore kick on Big E, and Drew McIntyre stands tall at the end of the show. This is, Drew getting his over before Crown Jewel, which is coming up. Take a look at the calendar over there that I have on the 21st. So we have a couple episodes. No, just one, right? Today is the 11th. So we have just one more episode of Raw before Crown Jewel, so we're kind of wrapping this whole thing up. And Drew McIntyre got his Claymore kick on Big E. He gets his moment to shine here tonight. But at Crown Jewel, I fully expect Big E to retain. At least I hope Big E retains. Otherwise, god damn, right? Big E, I guess, could lose to Drew McIntyre. Drew could go over to SmackDown with the WWE title. Roman Reigns could drop the Universal title to Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, and then Brock could, I guess, move over to Raw with the Universal title, even though he's a free agent. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see Roman dropping the belt at Crown Jewel, and I don't see Big E dropping to Drew McIntyre. Not at all. Raw tonight was not the best episode, not the worst. We had some good stuff. Like, the main event was solid. It wasn't my match of the night, but it was all right. The Usos, they're a good team, one of the best teams of all time. Big E, part of one of the best teams of all time. It felt weird watching the match. It was like the Usos against Big E and Kofi? Woods? No, Drew McIntyre. Not as good. I like it when it's New Day against the Usos. It's a better match. Big E and Drew, it's a weird tag team. But, of course, they're building up their main event match for Crown Jewel, and the WWE has no other concept to build up the match other than let's put them in a tag team match with each other. Let's do that. We're doing that with Sasha and Bianca. Yeah, but let's do it again. Who cares? And that was the main event. Not a great main event, which hurts the show overall. I didn't like the main event that much because the finish was a little and it kind of dragged. It wasn't my favorite match on the show. I really liked Xavier Woods and Ricochet. I thought that was fantastic. The opening match, I think, was the best match on the whole card. I liked Natty and Doudrop, too. I thought they did really good work. Everything else was kind of... Jinder and Kofi wasn't bad. A lot of matches that weren't really matches. Let's talk about some good stuff, though. Xavier Woods beat Ricochet via pinfall, hits a springboard elbow drop to advance to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. It's a fantastic match. Xavier Woods and Ricochet showing you that they are main event level players in the WWE, both worthy of winning something like a King of the Ring or a Royal Rumble or a main event of WrestleMania. And I'm not going to stop pushing this. Xavier Woods should win a lot of stuff. Xavier Woods has a lot coming to him. He's got everything you would possibly want in a pro wrestler. He's got the look. He's got the ability in the ring. He can talk. He presents very well. You know, he's got the TV gigs. He's got the YouTube channel. He's into video games. He's got a PhD. He could play the trombone. I mean, the list goes on and on of things that are positive with Xavier Woods and reasons to push him further up the ladder in the WWE. He's a very talented guy, and he showed it once again tonight, given a big spot, given a nice amount of time with a very good wrestler in Ricochet. Let's not discount anything Ricochet did tonight. He was fantastic. Another reason why Ricochet is one of the most undervalued, underused talents in all of the WWE. He comes out tonight, delivers a tremendous match of the night. It started the show. No one could follow it. And, you know, Woods and Ricochet, they're stealing the show. Why? Because they're top-level talent, but they're not treated that way, right? You see the WWE, you see where Ricochet is and where Woods is on the pecking order, right? They're not pushed like a Bobby Lashley or a Roman Reigns or the Drew McIntyre even, right? I mean, Ricochet's been basically missing in action, which is a wrestling crime, I would say. The way the WWE has used Ricochet is a crime against professional wrestling. The amount of talent, the ability that guy has, and they're just not using him, they're just doing nothing with him. It's a waste of talent. These are his prime years as an athlete, and he's being absolutely wasted by the WWE. Thankfully, tonight, they woke up and didn't waste him. He'll be on SmackDown soon. We'll see what he does there. But WWE does not do enough with Ricochet, and the match tonight, I think, proved that. Woods and Ricochet are fantastic. Woods advances in the King of the Ring tournament. He will take on Jinder Mahal next week. Jinder Mahal. Why? You have Woods versus Kofi. It's an emotional ride. They could tell a story. It could be a match that could main event Raw next week. It's Kofi Kingston versus Xavier Woods in the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. The winner of this match goes on to the finals. They could put their friendship and brotherhood aside and say, look, we're just competing here. We're here to wrestle a match. We both want to be King of the Ring. Let's put our friendship aside and just compete here tonight. A friendly competition of professional wrestling, which is our given profession, you know, and it's what we do for a living. So let's just go out and, you know, ply our trade with something big on the line. No hard feelings. You could hug and cry afterwards, tell a beautiful story, have a fantastic match. But instead, they give us Xavier Woods versus Jinder Mahal. Kofi Kingston loses to Jinder tonight in the quarterfinals of the King of the Ring tournament. Why? Why? Jinder hits the Colossus for the pinfall victory over Kofi. Clean win. Kofi was distracted a bit by Veer and Shanky. Shanky tried to jump on the apron, distract Kofi. Woods came, attacked Shanky, but then Veer clotheslined Woods. Kofi kind of watched the whole thing in shock. Jinder tried to roll up Kofi after that, but only got a 2 count. But eventually, Jinder hit his Colossus finisher and beat Kofi. I feel like he might beat Woods next week. Right? He might beat Woods next week. Are we going to see Woods versus Finn Balor in the finals? I think Finn Balor's making the finals. It's going to be Finn versus Sammy, I believe, on SmackDown in the semifinal, right? And then the winner of that will take on either Woods or Jinder. And I think Finn probably wins, and it'll be Finn versus, now I'm thinking Jinder. I thought it would be Woods, but now that Jinder has won, I feel like he's won for a reason, And they'll probably put Jinder up against Finn. And, damn it, Jinder might just win the whole thing. King Jinder. Because it makes more sense to have Jinder up against Finn because Jinder's a heel and Finn's a babyface. It makes less sense now for it to be Xavier Woods as a babyface against Finn Balor. I thought they were going to go in that direction with an emotional ride for Xavier Woods having to beat Kofi in the semis. But now that he's facing Jinder, and Jinder already beat Kofi, I feel like Jinder might just beat Woods next week and it'll be Jinder and Finn in the finals. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's like Sammy and Woods. But wait, it can't be Sammy because the finals are at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, and the Saudi Arabians won't let Sammy wrestle there because he's of Syrian descent. I forgot about that. But we already know it can't be Sammy because the finals at King of the Ring are in Saudi Arabia, and because maybe his parents or grandparents, I'm not sure. I think it might have been his parents. I'm not sure his lineage. But because he's born in Canada, I'm pretty sure, Sami Zayn. But his parents maybe, somebody in his family born in Syria. And because of that, the Saudi government won't allow him to wrestle there for WWE, as far as we know. Right? That's been the case. Sammy's been barred, basically, from the Saudi Arabia events. So I guess Sammy won't be in the finals. So it has to be Finn, right? Holy shit. How crazy is that? What are we talking about here? Oh, is Sammy or Finn going to win? Well, Sammy is barred from the country of Saudi Arabia because he's got somebody in his family that was born in Syria, so, they don't like that. I'm not really sure why. I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. I don't want to know. But I do think it's bad, right? I think Sammy should be allowed to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. Should be allowed to wrestle anywhere in the world. And if one of your guys is not allowed to wrestle in that place, I don't think you should go there. Like, imagine that. Imagine that. Like, would Vince have gone to Nazi Germany? Right? Like, Hitler wants a show, and, you could come do a wrestling show and show that, we're all cool, but no Jews. Paul Heyman, Bill Goldberg, no. We can't have that. Would Vince have gone and taken Hitler's money? You know what I mean? It's kind of fucked up. And when I say kind of fucked up, I mean really fucked up. That the WWE is going to a place where one of their key talents, a guy who's in the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament, former Intercontinental Champion, is not allowed to go, not even because he was born in a country they don't like, because somebody in his family, his parents or something, I don't know, right? It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And WWE sees no problem with this. They're like, yeah, well, he's Syrian, so what are they supposed to do? Guess we can't bring Sammy. I mean, sorry, pal. Wish we could bring you, but, Saudis. Saudis be Saudis. Sammy's just supposed to, accept that. It's awful. And us as wrestling fans, we have to, pretend that we don't know this and pretend that we think Sammy might beat Finn Balor in the semifinals of King of the Ring, right? That's the more egregious thing, is that it offends me as a wrestling fan who doesn't want to be spoiled for these matches. No, that's not the most offensive thing about it. It's that the WWE will go places and take money and give them special shows when they won't allow people from certain places of the world to perform in front of them. Seems wrong. We'll be doing a post-show for Crown Jewel on the 21st here in the afternoon on the Ringside Report Network, so definitely tune in for that. Bill Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, finals of the King of the Ring, and I believe finals of the Queen's Crown tournament. Saudis have budged on the women issue, right? Like they've allowed women to wrestle there now because there's going to be Bianca versus Becky versus Sasha. And then I think the finals of the Queen's Crown will be there too. So 2 women's matches. They've had women's matches there before. But when they first started going there, it was like, no. And then they were like, come on. And they're like, all right. But the Sami Zayn issue, they're not budging on for some reason. Yeah. It's a wild scene there in Saudi Arabia with the WWE. So Jinder beats Kofi tonight. It'll be Jinder versus Woods next week. And I wouldn't be surprised if it were Jinder versus Finn in the finals there in Saudi Arabia. How do Saudi Arabians feel about Indian guys? Do they care? Do they have a feeling one way or the other? Because Jinder, I know, is also Canadian, but I think his family comes from India, right? Jinder is Canadian as well. So, shout out to all the Canadian talent, right? So many Canadians on this show. Jinder, Natty. I think that's pretty much it. Anybody else Canadian on the show tonight? Is Omos Canadian? Let's just take him as Canadian. It's fantastic, that guy. Happy Thanksgiving, Omos. Yeah, that was it. Jinder and Natty. But Jinder, hey, could win the King of the Ring tournament for Canada. Although he won't say that. He'll claim it's for India or whatever himself. Jinder. That guy. I gotta love Veer and Shanky. I love those guys. I think they're fantastic. Jinder's match was all right, but I think Woods and Ricochet stole the show tonight. I think they had match of the night. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin are back together. Why? It still hasn't been explained. They're being called the Hurt Business. They're back with Bobby. Why? Has not been explained at all. But anyways, Cedric and Shelton beat Mustapha and Mansoor. Cedric hit a move on Mustapha for the win. And then Mustapha blamed Mansoor for the loss. Pushed him down. Later on in the night, they were backstage talking to each other. And Mustapha was like, "You're nothing, Mansoor. You're a loser. You're nothing." And then he beat him up. And then he kept berating him. So that tag team is over. They've broken up. Short-lived experiment of a tag team that didn't really want to be together in the first place. And now they're no longer together. But, of course, Mansoor, the Saudi Arabian guy, right? He's from Saudi Arabia, and they pushed him real hard whenever they went there. So maybe he has a payback match against Mustafa Ali at Crown Jewel where he beats him up real good. Could happen. Don't care. Don't need to see it. Hopefully it's on the pre-show. Get it over with. I like Natty's match tonight. Shayna's match, very short. Shayna beat Dana Brooke via pinfall after a knee to the face to advance into the semifinals of the Queen's Crown tournament. It was not much there. A lot of matches didn't really happen. Like Shayna and Dana was like maybe a minute. That'd be a good tag team, Shayna and Dana. I don't think they'd get along. Dana Brooke continues to be just an absolute jobber, losing real quick. She's lasted with the WWE for a very long time being a total jobber. Got to give her that. I like Dana. It just, never really works out. So Shayna has advanced to the semifinals of the Queen's Crown tournament and will take on Doudrop next week in the semifinals. Doudrop beating Natty tonight. Doudrop over Natalya. Commentary was talking about how Natty wanted to follow in her family's footsteps and win this tournament. This is the first ever Queen's Crown tournament. Of course, both of her uncles, Brett and Owen, have won King of the Ring. Brett actually the only two-time winner of King of the Ring. So it is a Hart family tradition. Her dad never won King of the Ring, though. Jim the Anvil never won King of the Ring. But Brett and Owen did. So Natty, trying to follow in the family, but it didn't happen. Natty was all mad at Doudrop, though. I liked the match. Natty was showing a lot of fire. She was yelling at Doudrop before the match. My family paved the way for all this. Slaps her in the face. It was good. She punched her in the gut one time in the corner, like a good bam, right into the midsection. Made a nice pop sound. Doudrop sold it like, oh, she made like a good sound. I think she was legit hurt. I think Natty punched her hard. Natty was chopping her and punching her and slapping her. Doudrop took a beating in this match. Doudrop went to do a senton on Natty. Natty moved. Doudrop just bam, hard on the mat. Nice little bump there. Doudrop also went to do a cannonball in the corner. You know the move, she flips over. But she flips, and she just kind of didn't rotate over her shoulder. She just kind of rolled on her head, and she kind of grabbed her head afterwards. Natty moved for that one, too. Doudrop didn't hit that move. Doudrop kind of like rolled over, tried to do like a somersault thing, but just kind of landed on her head. Looked rough. It was a rough outing there for Doudrop. She took a beating, both from Natty and from herself. But she did wind up winning. She hit Natty with a slap and then rolled her up. The finish was not great. The finish of that match needed a little bit more. I would have liked if that match had a little bit more time. I think Doudrop is a serious wrestler. She can go, and so can Natty, and I think that they deserved more time tonight. I think I saw somebody tweet out that the total match time for the Queen's Crown was like under 10 minutes tonight, which I believe. I don't know exactly how much ring time they got, but it was not a lot of ring time tonight. Natty and Doudrop's match a little bit longer than Shayna and Dana, but man, they did not give them a lot of time to work. I would have liked to have seen a lot more from Natty and Doudrop. I like Doudrop. I might be alone there, but I like Doudrop. I think she's pretty good. She's like a good wrestler. She's got a different look than everybody else, you know? She's got power. Promo-wise, I don't really know, but everything else is working for her. I like Doudrop. So she wins. Doudrop versus Shayna, to me, is a big match. Semifinals of the Queen's Crown. Like, what's a bigger match next week on Raw for the tournaments there? Is it Woods and Jinder or Shayna and Doudrop? I think it's Shayna and Doudrop. Like, Jinder's kind of come out of nowhere. Woods is, like, kind of climbing up, but still, you know, basically a tag team wrestler with Kofi. Doudrop just, you know, beat Eva Marie, left her. We haven't seen Eva since. Shayna is on a tear. She beat up Nia Jax, left her. Haven't seen Nia since. Like, they both have ditched their tag team partners. They've both been kind of unstoppable up until this point, and now they are on a collision course in this big tournament in a match where there must be a winner so that they can move on to the finals of the Queen's Crown tournament, the first ever Queen's Crown, the female equivalent to the King of the Ring, right? It's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big match. I'd like to see it main event next week on Raw, to be quite honest. I think that's the biggest match you could possibly put on the show next week. They'll probably get like 3 minutes. I don't know who wins. I think Shayna should win because right now she needs it more than Doudrop. I think Doudrop, she's still kind of finding herself as a character. Like I said, the promos aren't really there. She's still kind of a comedy gimmick right now. And she's new to the roster. She's got time. If Shayna has another step back here, people are going to stop believing in Shayna as a legit threat to anybody. Shayna's had these kind of stop and start runs. You know, she's looking good. She's beating people up. And then she's losing to these other jabronis. And you're like, why? They don't always go all the way with Shayna, and they should. She's very believable. She's a legit badass. She's one of the few on the whole show that comes across as like a real tough person, like just a badass, you know? You got to push somebody like that. And I think Doudrop has time to kind of get over the loss and come back and maybe beat Shayna down the road. But I feel like this Queen's Crown tournament should be Shayna's to win. I think Shayna should beat Doudrop. I think she should have a tough match, but come out on top. Maybe cheat to win. That's fine. And then it'll be Shayna versus... Although now that I think about it, maybe Shayna won't win. I really think she should, though. Because on the other side of the bracket, it's Zelina Vega and Carmella, right? 2 heels. So no matter what, you're going to get a heel in the finals. Are you going to do Doudrop, babyface, versus a heel, Zelina or Carmella? And I'm not really sure. I think probably Carmella. Probably Carmella. Do you do Doudrop versus Carmella? Or do you do Shayna versus Carmella? I think Shayna's kind of a heel right now, so I don't know if you do heel Shayna versus heel Carmella, but I could be wrong. They could want to push Shayna in a different direction, kind of like a scary, badass babyface to beat up on Carmella. If it's Shayna, like, Zelina and Carmella can play the scared heel, and Shayna could just beat them up and win. Could happen. I'd like to see it. If it's Doudrop, then it's anybody's guess. I think if it's Doudrop, you probably get a heel getting over and winning. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. Do they do 2 heel winners? I feel like Finn Balor's going to win. So I think Finn's going to be the babyface winner. I could see a heel winner of this Queen's Crown thing. Maybe they give it to Zelina as a way to kind of refresh her because she's been losing all the matches up until this point. Maybe they give it to Shayna because Shayna deserves something, Maybe they give it to Carmella. I think it's anybody's tournament there. On the men's side, I really think Finn is the odds-on favorite to win. I'd like to see Shayna win the Queen's Crown, but for some reason I feel like it's going to be Zelina at this point. Why did Zelina beat Toni Storm? It's got to be a reason, right? I think Zelina's going to win the Queen's Crown, and Finn's going to win King of the Ring. Bob Cote, Doug Hepburn, Franco 316, Angelo Contagonis in the chat. Who do you guys think is going to win King of the Ring and Queen's Crown? What was your match of the night? Let me know. Let me know. Bob Cote saying money over morals, talking about the Saudi thing, WWE going there. And Doug Hepburn saying, to be fair, Bob, Dave brought up a good point a while ago that Vince is far from the only one that takes the Saudi cash. Yeah, right? I mean, like, a lot of governments sell weapons and stuff to Saudi Arabia, right? Like the Canadian government. Apparently selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. According to this report here that I'm reading from Al Jazeera. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is crazy, right? You want to talk about Vince McMahon. I mean, he's a wrestling promoter, right? Vince McMahon is a guy who promotes jacked people in spandex pretending to fight each other. Like, do you really expect him to have high morals and values? I mean, look at that. Canada, where do we go here? Canada violating international law by selling arms to Saudis. Like, that seems worse than giving them a wrestling show. Like, I know because this is a wrestling show, I'm going to go on and on about Vince, but it is true that there are more than just wrestling promoters doing deals with the Saudi government, such as, the Canadian government violating international law by selling arms to them. Arms, guns. You know what I mean? You understand? Weapons, bombs, whatever. So you can blame Vince for giving them a wrestling show, which is fair. But you also have to remember that a lot of governments, even our own, sells weapons to them. Vince sells them a wrestling show. Canada sells weapons. Right? And no matter what person you voted for, they would also continue to sell weapons to the Saudi government, most likely. Like, no matter who. And you might say, well, maybe my guy, I don't know. It's a lot of money. They have a lot of money, and they're willing to give it to you for weapons. And, like, I don't want to go into the military-industrial complex, but let's just say it's pretty powerful, and it makes a lot of money for countries. Doug Hepburn says he's going for Xavier Woods and Shayna. I hope Xavier Woods wins, Doug. I hope you're right. Shayna winning too. Man, those are my picks. Those are my favorites. Those are the ones I want to see. But I think it's going to be Zelina, which will be fine, and Finn. Angelo says, I think Finn wins on the men's side and Shayna on the women's side. I hope you're right there with Shayna. I think you're right there with Finn, too. I think Finn is probably going to go. Bob Cote likes Xavier Woods and Shayna. All right, Bob. There you go. Franco 316 wants me to watch Lord of War. I don't know what that is, but if it's a documentary on stuff like that, I might check that out. As long as it's not a fiction movie. Unless it's good, then I'll watch it, I guess. I suppose. What else happened on Raw tonight? Let's not talk about the Saudi government and arms deals with the Canadian government, because that just seems depressing. What else happened tonight? Omos wrestled Riddle. See the stuff that Riddle got himself into there? What happened there with Riddle and his wife? It was like a thing. She tweeted something and then deleted the tweet. Let me see if I can get you the tweet. Yeah, Riddle was talking about how he says, this is his quote on Twitter. He says, I love my life so much, bro. I'm in California tagging with my best bro, Randy, and trust me, it doesn't get any better than this dude. He spelled then T-H-E-N when he meant T-H-A-N, but that's okay. A lot of people do that. His wife responded on Twitter and says, you would say that now that you packed up and moved to Orlando away from your children. She then deleted the tweet, but like, damn. So some controversy in the Riddle household for sure. Hopefully everything's all right there, but moving to Orlando away from your kids seems bad. Doesn't seem like something father should do. I don't know how you really do that either. I would miss them, right? I don't know. Maybe Riddle doesn't miss his kids, which is kind of horrible, right? I hope he does. I hope it's not true and it's just something they're working out. Anyways, Riddle was on Raw tonight. He got on the mic before his match with Omos. He was talking for a while, trying to get Randy Orton to come out and help him in his battle against Riddle and AJ Styles. Randy didn't come out. AJ Styles got on the mic and said Riddle was just stalling and they should wrestle now. Wrestle. So the match starts and Omos just beats up Riddle, hits him with a choke slam, goes to pin him with his foot on him, and AJ Styles is on the mic and he's like, no, give him a roundhouse kick. So Omos gives him a roundhouse kick. Riddle's just taking a beating. He can't do anything. He's just taking a vicious beating from Omos in this match. AJ Styles wants a replay of the kick. They show a replay. There's a lot of shenanigans with AJ Styles on the mic. This was barely a match. This is just, AJ Styles commanding Omos to do some moves, Omos doing them on Riddle, and then eventually pinned him. AJ then goes to attack Riddle after the match. That's when Randy Orton decides to come out. His music hits, but he doesn't come out right away. AJ sends Omos outside the ring to kind of catch him if he tries to run up from behind. AJ looks at the entranceway. Still Randy comes in somehow, from behind on AJ, hits him with the RKO. Omos is all mad, jumps in the ring. Randy slithers out. And then him and Riddle kind of stand there on the ramp. Not much of anything. And the more you hear about Riddle, the less you like Riddle. Hard to get behind this guy. I would like to be a super fan of Riddle's, but there's just something about him. I feel like, maybe he's not doing the right thing all the time. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Well, if you're looking to go to Las Vegas, you want to go see a UFC pay-per-view, you're looking to maybe party like Matt Riddle, there are a number of ways you can do it, but here's a suggestion. You go to Caesars Hotels, and you do it with the Ringside Report Network. We can save you money, and you can spend that money on the Team Dave parlay, right? Little Ringside Report MMA action. So you want to go to Vegas, book 3+ nights, and save on your next trip. Book by November 1st to travel through February 28th, 2022. And you can get a tremendous offer to go to Las Vegas. You go to vegas.ringsidereport.net to book now. So you go to vegas.ringsidereport.net if you want to book your next trip to Vegas. You will save, and the Ringside Report Network will get a little kickback. So that's vegas.ringsidereport.net if you wanted to go to Las Vegas. Which I think you should, because, hey, life is short. You can't take it with you. Might as well. Fucking, let the chips fall where they may. Let it roll. Have fun. Enjoy yourself while you're here. Life is short. Existence is fleeting. Spend your money on Las Vegas. Have fun. That is my message to you tonight. Enjoy yourselves while you still can. Enjoy every moment of your life as much as you can to the fullest. Don't be like me watching 3 hours of fucking Raw every Monday night. Goddamn, live your life for me, because I am watching Raw for you. Hit me up on Super Chat so I could go to Vegas. I need a fucking trip, you know what I mean? Yeah, Doug Hepburn says they should have showed where Randy came from. Yeah, I had no idea where Randy came from. I guess magic, he had that whole thing with the Fiend where all that black shit was coming out of his mouth, so maybe he's magical. I don't know. I don't know where Randy came from. I don't really care, to be honest. Omos and AJ versus Randy and Riddle. This shit seems to be going on forever, and I wish it would stop. And the more time goes on, the more I'm wanting AJ Styles to win. It's because I like AJ, and I don't really like Randy, and I don't really like Riddle that much either. His character right now is terrible. He used to be just kind of cool and chilled out. Now he's just stupid. Every time he cuts a promo now, he just comes off like an idiot. He's not just high. He's stupid. Just because you smoke weed doesn't mean you're a spaced out moron. Speaking from experience here. I may be a moron, but I'm not spaced out, all right? Fucking WWE. All the guys that smoke weed in WWE, all their weed guy personas, they always make them into these spaced out, moron, dazed and confused fucking caricatures. Like Cheech and Chong, you know what I mean? Rob Van Dam, Matt Riddle. They turn them into these fucking cartoony pothead images from the 80s. I don't understand what the fuck that is. It's weird. And Riddle is just coming off like a moron on TV. He just comes out like, and he's Randy's bitch, too. He's got no strength to him. He's got no backbone to him. And he's got no brains to him. What is there to cheer for with Riddle right now? Plus, you see on Twitter, his wife hates him. He's leaving his kids alone, moving away. Like, it's really hard to get behind Riddle. The TV character sucks. He's getting beat up by Omos. He's got Twitter fucking drama. Like a couple months ago, Riddle was one of the hottest baby faces they had going for them. You thought, hey, maybe he could be WWE champion one day. There's real promise here. He's a good wrestler. He's got a legit background. He could talk. He's got personality. And now they just turned him into this fucking caricature of himself. And he's terrible. And Randy Orton, just lets him take a vicious beating and, like, maybe shows up eventually. Randy Orton doesn't even like him. Why should we? I don't really. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat saying, Dave, thanks for the sacrifice every week. Seriously, though, you guys do great work. Bob Cote says, high people sound stupid. What does that mean, Doug? What does that mean, Bob? Thank you, Doug, for the super chat. Bob's saying high people sound stupid. What are you trying to say? I mean, I see you watch the show, right? You like the show, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm high. I'm just saying sometimes I smoke weed before I do this show. You try watching Raw for 3 hours and tell me you don't need a joint or something. Huh? Goddamn. You try watching Raw for 3 hours and not smoke a little weed. That's ridiculous. Why would I torture myself further? Bob saying high people sound stupid. Getting high gets you through the day sometimes, Bob. God damn it. All right. I'm losing it here. Bobby Lashley. Maybe I do sound stupid. Bobby Lashley cuts an in-ring promo. Bobby objects to Goldberg, saying he's going to kill him at Crown Jewel. I object to that, too. Bobby Lashley making some very good points in his promo, saying, Bill Goldberg multiple times threatened me with murder last week in his promo. I think he went too far. Bobby's saying that language is not befitting of a WWE superstar, Hall of Famer, or a father, as Goldberg is, and says he's doing this for his son. I mean, I understand. Bobby Lashley did attack Goldberg's son at SummerSlam. However, Goldberg's son jumped Bobby Lashley from behind. Bobby claims he didn't know it was his son. He thought it was some fan, and that's why he attacked him, even though Bobby, it seemed to realize at a certain point when he was beating up Gage Goldberg that it was Gage Goldberg. But he kept doing it because he was, like, in the moment. But, that happens sometimes. Heat of the moment, you're in a thing, and you just, But Goldberg threatening Bobby Lashley's life, it was a bit much. But at the same time, you can kind of sympathize with Goldberg. The man put his hands on your child. You're mad. I could see threatening life there. But it was a little out of the ordinary for a WWE promo. And Bobby Lashley took exception to it. Bobby says, Goldberg's over here threatening me with murder while coming out here in his cut-off shirts, foaming at the mouth. I come here in my three-piece suits, looking dapper, acting professionally. I'm the type of guy that should be representing this company, not Goldberg in a crown jewel. I'm going to show you, da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to win the match, and so on. No holds barred, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. I think Goldberg probably gets the win back, though, right? Bobby beat Goldberg when Bobby was still WWE champion, defended the title, beat Goldberg, but then beat up his son. You figure this is going to be Goldberg's revenge. I'm not sure the WWE wants to go down the road of Bobby Lashley beats up Goldberg's kid, Goldberg tries for revenge but fails miserably, and Bobby Lashley wins again. I mean, I would like that outcome because I think it's hilarious, and I like Bobby Lashley way more than I like Goldberg. I thought Bobby's promo tonight was way better than Goldberg's last week. I think Bobby is better than Goldberg in every single possible way. Better look, better wrestler, more legit background, better promo, better everything. Bobby Lashley is way better than Goldberg. But I can see them giving the win to Goldberg because the Saudis seem to love him, right? I mean, they bring Goldberg back for every one of these Saudi Arabia shows, it seems like. So Goldberg probably wins. Goldberg beat The Fiend for the title in Saudi Arabia, right? Was that Goldberg that did that? Yeah, it was, right? That's crazy. That was weird when they did that. They should not have done that either, but hey. Doug Hepburn loved that Lashley said that. Yeah, me too. I thought it was a great promo from Bobby Lashley tonight. Really good stuff. Austin Theory beat Jeff Hardy, a match that wasn't really a match. Barely a match here. Nothing really happened. Reginald, Drew Gulak, Tozawa, and Drake Maverick and R-Truth all ran through the ring. They were all chasing Reginald. Austin Theory tried to attack Truth. Truth kind of ducked away, distracted Austin Theory. Jeff Hardy took advantage, went for the Swanton, misses the Swanton, and then got rolled up by Austin Theory. Theory also grabbed a handful of tights, so cheated to beat Jeff Hardy there with a handful of tights roll-up. Austin Theory beating Jeff Hardy tonight. I don't know. He's playing like the cocky new kid. We'll see. He's a good wrestler. He's got some personality. I think he's got some promise here. The match with Jeff, though, was really nothing. The fact that they interfered with the 24/7 job mob there was a little unnecessary. You have a little promo with Austin Theory and Jeff Hardy last week. Austin Theory comes out, says he's a big fan, and then attacks him, takes a selfie after he beat him up. This week they go and have a match, but it's really just kind of a joke with the 24/7 title. And you think, well, might be a matter of time before Austin Theory joins that 24/7 title hunt, right? If he doesn't play his cards right, he's going to be right along with those guys, Drew Gulak and Tozawa, right? Not yet, though. Not yet. He just beat Jeff Hardy on Raw, which you know is a big deal because look what it did for Karrion Kross's career. Oh, yeah, where's that guy? What happened to him and Keith Lee? Like, what happened to those guys? Oh, well. Bianca, Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky all brawling before their match can start. Refs and agents and everybody comes out to stop them, but they can't. Finally, Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville come out and demand that the match start in the ring. So we go to commercial, and then when we come back, the match has started in the ring. I'm not really sure how they managed to get control of the situation, but hey, come back, and there's a tag team match going on. The control of the situation did not last for long. Very weird finish to this. Again, barely a match because it was just like, you know, Becky and Charlotte doing blind tags on each other, hitting each other. Bianca tossing her partner Sasha out of the ring. Sasha tossing Bianca out of the ring. This match went to a double disqualification, according to the ref, which didn't make a lot of sense because Bianca attacked Sasha, and then the ref was like, okay, this match is over, double disqualification. Bianca had attacked Sasha during the match already. Like, the teams were already fighting during the match. At a certain point, the ref was just like, all right, I've seen enough of this. A double disqualification. Why do Becky and Charlotte get disqualified? You stopped the match because Bianca and Sasha were fighting. How come Becky and Sasha get disqualified too? Doesn't make a lot of sense, ref. But whatever, who cares? Right? Who cares? Everybody brawls after the match. Becky hits the rock bottom on Sasha, and she winds up standing tall at the end of this segment. Becky Lynch does. Play the Becky Lynch music. I mean, this is fine, or this would be fine if it was consistent throughout the show. So Bianca attacks Sasha, her tag team partner here, and it causes the end of the match. Big E and Drew McIntyre later on in the show fight each other. They're a tag team. That does not cause the end of the match. Their continuous fighting causes a count out instead. So you got to be consistent if you're going to have rules on the show. If a tag team fights each other, do they get disqualified? Because that's not usual, but it was the case tonight. Actually, it wasn't the case tonight. One tag team fought each other, and both teams got disqualified, which... Huh? And then later on, you have Drew and Big E. They're a tag team. They fight each other. They don't get disqualified. Big E just gets counted out, and that's how their team loses. It's not consistent. And that's a problem with WWE across the board. Consistency. They are not a consistent show. They are not a cohesive show. There's a lot of things that kind of fall between the cracks. And this is one of them, once again. Not consistent. So it's hard to enjoy a match that was just kind of a mess, right? Becky and Charlotte, Bianca and Sasha, all talented wrestlers. They just didn't really have much of a match tonight. It was more of a long segment where it was just kind of showing you how much they all hate each other. I don't know why Charlotte's even involved in this. She's not wrestling at Crown Jewel. What's Charlotte doing here? Is Becky going to lose to Bianca? And then Charlotte maybe loses to Sasha or Becky? No, it doesn't even make sense, right? Try to figure out because of the brands. So Bianca and Becky are currently Raw superstars, even though they are appearing on both shows. And Sasha and Charlotte are currently SmackDown superstars, even though they were on Raw tonight. But Charlotte is the Raw Women's Champion. But she's technically a SmackDown superstar, and Becky is the SmackDown Women's Champion, but she's technically a Raw superstar. They haven't explained to us how they're going to settle that. Because after Crown Jewel, in a couple of weeks, Becky will be only on Raw, and Charlotte will be only on SmackDown, but Becky will be the SmackDown Champion, and Charlotte will be the Raw Champion. So either they just swap belts, which doesn't seem like they're in the mood to do because Becky and Charlotte seem to hate each other right now. Doesn't seem like they'll do a nice, friendly swapping of the titles unless Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville make them. It's not clear how they're going to do that switcheroo with the belts. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville could just be like, okay, we're going to do a swap here because, you know, the shows don't make sense. It doesn't line up. But we could also have a title change, right? Charlotte could go to SmackDown with the Raw title. Bianca could technically take the belt from Becky over, you know, take the SmackDown belt and become the SmackDown champion, but Bianca would be staying on Raw. I don't see Sasha. I think the only person that's not going to win that triple threat at Crown Jewel, right, Bianca, Sasha, Becky, is Sasha. Because if Sasha wins, then she is the SmackDown champion. She remains on SmackDown, but Charlotte, the Raw champion, also on SmackDown. So then you have the two belts there. I can see Bianca maybe winning, taking the belt back, and continuing her feud with Becky. Either way, though, you got to swap the SmackDown and Raw titles. And Charlotte, again, like, she was in this tag match, but she's not booked for Crown Jewel. She doesn't have a title defense coming up. So you figure Becky just retains at Crown Jewel, And then after Crown Jewel, Charlotte and Becky just switch belts, and we move on. Seems like the most logical way to go about it, but WWE likes to make things more complicated than they should be. And Doug Hepburn says, yeah, Charlotte hinted at a possible women's title unification. I think she's just throwing that out there. I think that was just part of the promo. I don't think they're actually thinking about doing it. I really don't think that they unify the women's championships. I don't think there's a reason to do it. I think they're better off having one champion on each show right now. I don't think they unify. And that's pretty much everything that happened on Raw tonight, right? John Morrison was meditating backstage. Rhea Ripley asked him what he was doing. Morrison said he was centering his chi. Nikki Ash was like, yeah, good for you. Follow your dreams. And then Rhea and Nikki walked away. And Rhea asked if Nikki knew what Morrison was talking about, and she did not. And I thought, oh, maybe they're on their way for a match. But they weren't. That was just it. That was Rhea and Nikki Ash's spot on the show, having a little weird encounter with John Morrison. That was also John Morrison's only spot on the show, meditating backstage and talking to Rhea and Nikki. Okay. But that did happen on Raw. Not much else happened on Raw. That was it. That's Raw. That's your Raw recap. Xavier Woods versus Jinder Mahal set for the King of the Ring semifinal on Raw next week. And Shayna Baszler versus Doudrop set for the Queen's Crown semifinal on Raw next week as well. And the SmackDown King of the Ring semifinal will be Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn this Friday. And Zelina Vega will take on Carmella in the Queen's Crown semi-final. And I will be back here with Johnny North on Friday night to watch AEW Rampage with you and also recap everything that happened on SmackDown. We might be on a little bit later than usual, though. I know we're usually on at 10 o'clock on Friday nights after SmackDown. But this Friday night, SmackDown, I believe, is ending at 10:30 Eastern Time. So I think Johnny and I will probably jump on here after SmackDown at 10:30. It's a supersized SmackDown. So we'll be on a little bit later, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time here for Wrestling Uncensored on Friday night after SmackDown. And we won't be here Wednesday because there's no Dynamite on Wednesday. Dynamite is on Saturday this week. It's a programming note for all you AEW fans. Dynamite will be on Saturday this week and next. This week in Miami, next week in Orlando. So no Dynamite Wednesday nights for the next couple of weeks. That means we are not here after Dynamite on a Wednesday because there's no Dynamite. So what are we going to do?
Super chat, super chat.
I will be here Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time with Freddie and AJ. And that's when I'll be back. So I get an extra day off here this week, not on Wednesday because no Dynamite. I'll be back here on the Ringside Report Network, 8 p.m. Eastern Time with Freddie and AJ for Ringside Report MMA, talking everything in the UFC. We've got Aspen Ladd versus Norma Dumont coming up in the UFC on Saturday. Also, Bellator's got Ryan Bader versus Corey Anderson, so some pretty good fights coming up this weekend in the world of mixed martial arts, and we'll preview all that stuff for you. Talk about Mackenzie Dern's loss as well. I'm sure AJ is in mourning. We will talk about that on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Ringside Report MMA. Doug Hepburn, you are the Super Chat leader of the night. He says, go Habs, go. Is hockey season started already? Has that begun? I guess October is when that starts. Jeez. Did it start? When are you... Just tell me. When does that happen? Did it start already? Or it's going to start? You guys know. When are you guys in the chat? Tell me. Tomorrow. Thank you, Angelo. Oh, this hockey season starts already tomorrow. All right, well. All right, then. Good for you guys. Hope you enjoy the hockey. I saw the Red Sox eliminated the Rays tonight, and the Red Sox are going to the ALCS. That was a shocker. I did not expect the Rays to get eliminated by the Red Sox in this series. God damn, pal. Rays, they're like the best team. I can't believe they lost. In 4 games, too. It's nuts. Don't like the Red Sox. I'm a big Yankee fan. I can't be happy about that. I don't love the Rays, but I really don't like the Red Sox. So, all right. And that's it for me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, do the damn thing. All right? Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Shout out to Doug Hepburn. You are the Super Chat leader of the night. Doug, you did it. You did it, Doug. Thank you to the members of the team. Don't forget to become a member. If you're watching this show here, click the join button beneath me or go to join.ringsidereport.net. Join the channel. Angelo Contagonis has joined the channel. Doug Hepburn has joined the channel. Franco316 is a member of the channel. Brian Firth has supported over at donate.ringsidereport.net.
Super chat.
So do it just like they have. Support the channel and keep these shows going. Angelo Contagonis drop in the super chat, and now he is the super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Angelo. Could not let Doug take it tonight. Angelo once again swoops in at the end of the show. He says, thanks for a great show tonight. We appreciate all that you do for the Ringside Report Network. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate your support here. And I will be back on Thursday. Doug Hepburn saying, damn you, Angelo. Doug has been a member for 10 months, almost a year with us here. That's what I call dedication. Thank you, Doug, for the dedication. Staying on with us for 10 months straight as a member. That is an OG of the Ringside Report Network. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the channel and being with us here tonight. I'll see you again here on Thursday for Ringside Report MMA here on the Ringside Report Network.